This is a red alert. This is a red alert. All right. Did you know, traditionally at THORnews, I don't really like covering subjects where people die or are dying, because I like to prevent death and keep people informed. But due to the state of 2020, I'm covering the coronavirus pretty dang well. And I want to say that most of the people that have been providing videos from China have all disappeared. And so the amount of video data we're getting out of China is scary, because it's really fallen off. Well, and also the new numbers are in. There are 242 more deaths, which is the largest spike in deaths since this has started. And there were 16,000 new cases of infection. So we're at now 60,000 infected and 1,355 people dead from the coronavirus. If you didn't see the video I posted yesterday, coronavirus update, Trump response, San Diego problems, Chinese children. Pretty much Trump said, yeah, it's bad in China, but America's doing great. The stock markets are great. The economy's great. And we don't have to worry because the sunlight will probably kill it in April. Although the numbers continue to double every 3 days. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a big problem for the United States in March. Okay, then they had someone released from San Diego who they didn't think was infected, and it turns out that person was infected. And even worse, they were in the military, so that's a problem. And then there was horrific video showing them just stacking Chinese children in a hospital because apparently the situation is bad. And of course, from a lot of the things we've seen, if you're following all updates, reports on the actual numbers dead is anywhere from 25,000 to 50,000. And we've learned from Puerto Rico that our governments really never tell us the truth. And so I would go somewhere between the official numbers and then somewhere between the YouTube numbers, putting us at probably about 20,000 or more. But overall, this is the number one clear and present danger to not only China, but every country in the United States. As I checked yesterday, they still have flights to and from to China from Mexico. And, so there haven't been any reported cases in South America, Central America. It's just, I want to, it appears that Trump's Achilles heel is disaster response. So that it would have been a bad time to have that happen. A president who's really bad at disaster response or empathy or compassion. But I don't want to single him out. Pretty much every politician other than Tom Cotton totally sucks at the subject. And it wasn't mentioned in the Democrat debate. So, as I've said always at THORnews for 7 years, don't trust politicians. And definitely do not worship them like they are perfect. Unless your self-esteem is super low and you need that to carry on. All right, Tracy Alloway, who a moment of levity around Valentine's Day. I don't know. The mask makes her hot. Maybe it's just her super intense eyes. What was it talking about? Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. I was like, man, we need to bring back rock and roll and romance or shitty shit's going to happen. And then everyone's like, no, we're going to stay with low vibration forever. And so we manifested this shit straight out of the bottomless pit. Okay. We manifested the virus, not Tracy. Tracy's definitely over 21 and an angel. Tracy Alloway, markets moving after Hubei reported 14,840 extra coronavirus cases following a method of diagnosis. Hey, guess what? The U.S. equity futures are taking a hit because the stock market hit record high levels today. Like, I don't know, we're near 30,000 in the Dow Jones because the economy is like, man, everything is great. And even if a bunch of people die, we are the corporations, we can sweep right in and enact new laws and oh, geez. Anyway, I'm going to be having mood swings this month because it's really stressful to report this shit and, take this shit in all day and stuff. So, okay. Carl Quintana, JP Morgan is monitoring coal consumption in China post-Lunar New Year. There is no apparent rebound in the current data, and consumption is now down roughly 40% of its seasonal average, and in line with our estimate of the reduction in IP growth. So when you have, China's like either neck and neck with us in economies go. So when you have pretty much the number one or number two economy in the globe totally on lockdown, it may not be totally affecting the American markets today, but I can guarantee you this is not going to be pretty in the long run. And China is now issuing anti-epidemic bonds. Oh, man. The bulk of the proceeds will be used to roll over debt, old debt, instead of direct funding containment efforts. And I want to say yesterday, the Federal Reserve pumped $67 billion straight into the banks through repo operations, which it's been doing since September 23rd. And so imagine if like our government was like, hey man, we're taking $67 billion and we're going to fight the coronavirus, which is now COVID-19, the new name for it. I mean, imagine that, man. Like, literally like the social media networks and everybody's like socialism, fuck socialism. But it's like nobody gives a shit if we pump $500 billion into the banks. But like somehow if we were going to use even $100 billion or $50 billion to prepare for this coronavirus or help China or set up ideas of how to keep our power grid up or like what we will do if this thing starts to spread into the United States. Like, it's just a weird world, man. It's just a weird world. And so Nostradamus warned us that, the virus would hit America in March, and then we would have major river flooding in March and April. So it looks like that my Nostradamus decoding seems pretty accurate. I'll cover that in a different video, and then the river flooding in a different video. But yeah, it's a solid storm over the U.S. right now. I think a theme of this video is going to be how far government's heads are up their asses. Some of the coronavirus testing kits sent to state laboratories around the country have flaws and do not work properly. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said on Wednesday. The kits were meant to enable states to conduct their own testing and get results faster than you would by shipping samples to the CDC in Atlanta. But the failure of the kits means that states still have to depend on the CDC, which will mean several days' delay in getting results. The CDC announced last week that it had begun shipping about 200 kits to laboratories in the United States and roughly 200 more to the labs in other countries. Each kit test can take about 700 to 800 specimens per patient. So it's just like malfeasance and, mistakes pretty much at every level on this thing so far and no teamwork whatsoever. There was a report that over 500 doctors in China had been infected with the coronavirus because I think a mask is a placebo. If you want to craft your own set of Mandalorian armor, I would recommend that now. All right, dude from the CDC, the director, we're probably going to see some human-to-human transmission within the United States at some point in time. It's highly probable that we will have to transition to mitigation. And I've been talking and preaching about mitigation since before the whole time at the THORnews, at the THORnews, I've been saying, man, use prophecy for damage mitigation, and that everybody needs to take a break from dividing and conquering and hating each other and doing what they can to make as much money as possible to deal with this very serious situation. And as far as right now, the overall attitude is that this was a mistake that got out of the bioweapons lab. I mean, the people who are just like, no, it's controlled depopulation. Even if that is true, that only makes people feel helpless. And B, from what I understand, no, dude, like that's what it will affect the richest of the rich, the poorest of the poor, celebrities, politicians. This is a pretty scary situation. And does life create art, or does art create life, or is it a mixture of both? I think it's a mixture of both. As someone who writes screenplays and draws pictures and paints and writes songs and makes poems and makes videos, it's a lot of why I do what I do, because our imagination crafts our future. So I try to pump in as much heroicism and positivity as possible. Because if everybody focuses on negative stuff, then you manifest negative things. The super duper, amazingly beautiful, but extra smart and cool Katya Portskansky, who's married now, tiny Korean hedge fund hits jackpot with Parasite deal, because Parasite won the Best Picture at the Oscars this weekend in weird synchronicities that happen in the world. Coronavirus is hitting Oil hard. See, like the stock market's just continued to rebound up until today, where, I mean, this, corporations don't need human beings, man. Or they don't think they do. And so they see, I don't know, 1,000 dead, 1,000,000 dead, a blip on the map, bro. I don't know. Stocks at fresh highs. U.S. corporate bond yields at all-time lows. Greek government bond yields below 1% for the first time ever. Hey, do you have a house loan or car loan or student loan at 1% or less than 1% interest? No, I didn't think so. I need like 2 or 3 days off, like a little vacation. I'm probably not going to get it. And then I was remembered, oral sex is like a mini vacation. I'm probably not going to get that either. My standards are way too high. But yeah, I'm going to be having mood swings. Incubation time of COVID is up to 24 days, which meaning you can get it and have it and it not show up, I think, for 24 days. So the 14-day quarantine for returning travelers may not be enough. This needs more confirmation. Past studies found 5 to 7 day mean, but with a large range, wide variance. The people infected, the numbers on this thing are crazy, and the numbers just keep getting worse. And remember, we're still on the thing where the death total confirmed, and I don't know, I think the people in serious conditions over 10 grand. Like the numbers keep doubling every 3 days. Right now, I've never had more pressure on me to tell you guys the situation in a level-headed but still optimistic way, and I've never had less pressure on me because overall as a country, as a nation, we have our dick in the dirt and our heads up our asses, and that the ways we've been doing things for the last 5, 6, 10 years absolutely don't work in this 2020 grand transition, where I have been saying we will face problems that you cannot buy your way out of or use force to solve your problems. So if you were so rich or could just have anybody killed to solve your problems, that shit worked up until 2020. But now we are in a totally different ball game, which is one of the reasons I have been had a YouTube channel for 7 years, and for the last 4 or 5 years that I've done this full time, because I had a feeling we would be here, and we're here now. I'm not giving up hope, but I'm saying the less we do the less we decide to work together, teamwork, or be like, hey man, we have a real situation. This is the White Walkers in Game of Thrones. Until these numbers go down, there's no reason to poo-poo this thing, man. This is an event that we should all be uniting on, because helping China helps us in preparing and even discussing worst case scenarios now of if we have to lock down cities, like how would we handle it? The situation is definitely showing us our faults and our errors and our weaknesses. And right now, the only politician on the planet who seems to be decent, or even, is Tom Cotton. I look up his video on where he's talking about how serious this is, the problems, the way that are going to affect America. This is the only guy of Republicans and Democrats who's even acting like it could be a big deal. So I don't know. I'm going to do what I can to bring you guys the information. I'm going to have radical mood swings to like insane optimism, to me being angry and depressed, to it's Planetary Defense Commander. Anywho, but I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. If you want to contribute or donate, they always unmonetize these things, and I'll be needing to prep as well. I'll be doing what I can, the best, to keep you guys updated on all things important, as I do as Planetary Defense Commander. So I want you to know that I love y'all. It's always dark before the dawn, and apparently now it's dark and virusy with the heavy doses of river flooding and divide and conquer, and the astrology set up to where people are going to be like hating each other and having big fights over little tiny shit. And yeah, we got Mercury retrograde on the 17th, and then Venus retrograde about a month after that. So, everything is leveled up except for us. So now's a good time for us to level up. So God bless everyone. Stay cool. And keep them prayers up, baby.